There comes a moment in life when you stop explaining, stop chasing, stop proving, and suddenly you realize something powerful. The moment you become silent, the noise disappears. The moment you focus on yourself, everything begins to align. Because the truth is, your breakthrough never arrives when you are busy convincing the world. It arrives when you return to yourself. Not louder, not faster, just stronger, quietly. And that is when everything starts falling into place. Silence protects your energy in ways most people never understand until they experience it for themselves. Many people think progress comes from talking more, proving more, showing more. They believe success is built by making announcements, posting every step, explaining every decision, and seeking recognition before results appear. But life teaches a different lesson. There is power in becoming quiet. Think about this. Every time you tell everyone what you are about to do, you give away a piece of the energy that should have been used to actually do it. You begin collecting opinions instead of collecting progress. Some people praise you, some doubt you, some question you, and suddenly your focus shifts from your purpose to their reactions. That is how energy disappears. There are people right now who spend more time explaining their dreams than building them. But watch the person who moves differently. They stop talking. They stop defending their choices. They stop announcing goals. And quietly, they begin. While everyone else is distracted by noise, they wake up early. They study. They train. They improve. They fail in private. They grow in silence. And nobody notices. Until one day, everyone notices. Look at the seed beneath the ground. Before anyone sees the tree, there is a long season of invisible growth. No applause, no attention, no audience. Yet beneath the surface, roots are forming. Your life works the same way. The strongest transformations happen quietly. There is a story repeated in different forms throughout life. Someone disappears for a while. Friends wonder where they went. Social media becomes quiet. Fewer words, less proving. Then months later, they return stronger, healthier, calmer, and more successful. And people call it sudden success. But it was never sudden. It was protected. Because they understood something most people miss. Attention is expensive. Every unnecessary conversation drains focus. Every argument steals peace. Every attempt to convince people delays your own growth. You do not need everyone to understand your vision. You do not need permission to become who you want to become. And you certainly do not need to announce your next chapter before you have written it. Silence is not weakness. Silence is discipline. Silence says, I trust my actions more than my words. Silence says, I no longer need validation to continue. Silence says, my work will speak. So if life is calling you inward right now, answer that call. Focus on your habits. Focus on your healing. Focus on your skills. Protect your plans. Move with purpose. Because when your energy stops leaking into noise, comparisons, explanations, and opinions, you suddenly have enough power left to build the life you keep imagining. Stay quiet. Keep working. And let your results introduce you. Focus on growth, not validation. This is one of the hardest lessons a person will ever learn, because from the beginning of life, many of us are trained to look outside ourselves for approval. We raise our hands to be chosen. We work to be praised. We perform to be accepted. Somewhere along the way, we begin believing that our value increases when people notice us. But that belief becomes a prison, because the moment your confidence depends on applause, your direction begins changing with every opinion. One compliment lifts you. One criticism destroys you. One person believes in you and suddenly you feel unstoppable. One person doubts you and suddenly you question everything. That is not freedom. That is dependence. And growth cannot survive there. There comes a moment in life where you must ask yourself a difficult question. If nobody clapped, would I still continue? If nobody liked it, would I still build it? If nobody noticed, Would I still become it? Because true transformation begins the day your standards become more important than recognition. Think about the people who accomplish extraordinary things. Most of their journey was invisible. Long before anyone called them successful, they were waking up in silence, making sacrifices nobody celebrated, repeating difficult routines nobody admired. Imagine someone learning a new skill after work every single night. Nobody sees the exhaustion. Nobody congratulates the consistency. Months pass. Progress is slow. Results are invisible. And then one day, everything changes. People suddenly say, "You're talented," but they never saw the nights when quitting felt easier. That is growth. Growth does not ask for witnesses. Growth asks for commitment. Too many people abandon their dreams because the world did not react fast enough. But the world is not your measuring tool. Your own progress is. Stop asking, "Do people believe in me?" Start asking, "Am I becoming stronger?" Stop asking, "Do they notice my effort?" Start asking, "Am I proud of my discipline?" Stop asking, "Am I ahead of everyone else?" Start asking, "Am I better than yesterday?" Because validation creates temporary motivation. Growth creates permanent change. And here is what eventually happens when you shift your focus. You become calmer. You stop competing. You stop explaining. You stop checking who supports you and who does not. Your energy returns. Your attention becomes sharp. You begin moving with a quiet confidence that cannot be taken away by praise and cannot be destroyed by criticism. People may still misunderstand you. People may still overlook you. Keep going. Your life is too important to be controlled by changing opinions. Build habits nobody applauds. Develop character nobody can see. Create standards that do not depend on approval. Because the day you stop needing the world to confirm your worth is the day you become unstoppable. Focus on growth and let validation become irrelevant. Detach from what others think. This sounds simple when you hear it, but living it can change your entire life. Because one of the greatest invisible chains people carry is not failure. It is fear of judgment. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of disappointing people. Fear of hearing someone say, "Who do you think you are?" And because of that fear, dreams remain ideas. Talents remain hidden. Lives remain smaller than they were meant to be. Think about how many decisions people make every day based not on what they truly want, but on what they think others will say. They choose safety over purpose, silence over expression, comfort over growth. Not because they cannot do more, but because they cannot tolerate being judged while doing it. But here is the truth nobody tells you. No matter what you do, people will talk. If you stay where you are, people will question your ambition. If you grow, people will question your change. If you succeed, people will question your motives. If you fail, people will question your ability. So if judgment is unavoidable, why surrender your life to it? There is a story that repeats itself in every generation. Someone decides to change. Maybe they start exercising. Maybe they launch something new. Maybe they leave a path that no longer fits them. At first, people laugh. People doubt. People say things like, "This won't last." And if that person keeps listening, they stop. Not because they lacked potential, but because they gave strangers control over their future. Then there is another person. Same fears, same criticism, same uncertainty. But instead of stopping, they continue. Quietly, consistently. Not because they stopped hearing opinions, but because they stopped obeying them. Months later, those same voices begin asking for advice. That is how life works. People often respect results they once criticized. Do not misunderstand this. Detaching from opinions does not mean becoming arrogant. It does not mean ignoring wisdom. It means refusing to hand over authority for your life. Listen when necessary. Learn when appropriate. But remember who must live with your choices. You. At the end of the day, nobody else wakes up inside your mind. Nobody else carries your unfinished dreams. Nobody else feels the regret of becoming less than what you were capable of. So why let temporary opinions make permanent decisions? Your path will not make sense to everyone. Your growth will make some people uncomfortable. Your silence may confuse people. Your discipline may intimidate people. Keep moving anyway, because there comes a powerful moment in life when you realize something. You do not need everyone to understand your journey. You only need the courage to continue it. Detach. Not from people, but from the need to be approved by them. And once you stop carrying the weight of everyone's expectations, something incredible happens. You breathe differently. You think clearly. You move freely. And for the first time in a long time, your life finally starts becoming your own. Build quiet habits that create loud results. People are often fascinated by outcomes. They notice the transformation. They admire the success. They celebrate the moment someone finally arrives. But what most people never see is the ordinary routine that created the extraordinary life. Because greatness rarely announces itself in the beginning. It enters quietly. It looks small. It feels repetitive. And because it does not feel dramatic, many people quit before the results ever appear. Think about this. Nobody becomes strong in a single workout. Nobody becomes wise after reading one book. Nobody builds a meaningful life in one burst of motivation. Everything powerful is built through habits, tiny decisions, repeated daily, invisible efforts stacked over time. Yet most people underestimate them because habits do not feel important in the moment. Waking up early one day changes nothing. Saving money once changes nothing. Practicing a skill for 30 minutes seems insignificant. But repeated long enough, those quiet actions begin creating a completely different person. Imagine two people standing at the same starting point. One waits for motivation. The other builds systems. One acts only when emotions are high. The other acts whether emotions show up or not. Months later, their lives no longer look the same. Not because one had more talent, but because one respected consistency. There is something powerful about the person who keeps showing up. No audience, no recognition, no immediate reward. Still they continue, day after day, because they understand something that changes everything. Your future is not created by what you do occasionally. It is created by what you repeat. Look at the sculptor. No masterpiece appears from one strike. Thousands of careful movements shape the final form. Look at nature. Mountains are not built overnight. Rivers carve stone through persistence. Life rewards sustained effort. But here is where most people lose. They become addicted to visible progress. They want immediate proof, immediate results, immediate validation. And when nothing changes after a few days or weeks, they assume nothing is happening. That is the trap. Because the biggest changes are often invisible at first. Discipline is forming. Identity is changing. Standards are rising. And then one day, the result appears. People call it luck. People call it talent. People say, you changed so fast. But you know the truth. You changed quietly. You changed when nobody was watching. So do not underestimate simple habits. Do not dismiss the small choices. Do not quit because progress feels invisible. The workout matters. The study session matters. The early morning matters. The extra effort matters. Every quiet act is a vote for the person you are becoming. Build routines that nobody applauds. Create discipline that nobody sees. Trust the process long enough for the results to arrive. Because when habits become strong, life becomes different. And eventually, those quiet actions create results so powerful, they speak louder than words ever could. Let actions speak instead of words. There is a moment in every person's life when they realize something uncomfortable but powerful. Talking about change and becoming change are not the same thing. Many people live in the excitement of intention. They talk about the business they will start. They talk about the body they will build. They talk about the discipline they will develop. They talk about the person they are becoming. But weeks pass, months pass, and nothing changes. Because words create the feeling of progress without requiring the work of progress. That is why some people become trapped in endless preparation, endless explanation, endless promises. They mistake expression for execution. But life does not respond to announcements. Life responds to action. Your future does not care what you planned. It responds to what you repeated. There is something deeply powerful about becoming the kind of person who stops making declarations and starts making decisions. Imagine someone who says nothing, no big speeches, no dramatic posts, no public countdown. They simply begin. Every morning they wake up and train. Every day they practice. Every week they improve. Nobody notices. Nobody celebrates. Nobody expects anything. And slowly, their life begins to transform. Then one day people ask, when did this happen? But the answer is always the same. It happened in the moments nobody saw, because action has a quiet authority. Words can impress people. Results change lives. And this is where many people lose energy. They become too focused on appearing committed, instead of becoming committed. They announce goals because it feels good. They seek approval before effort. They collect encouragement instead of building discipline. But there comes a time when you must protect your vision from unnecessary exposure. Not every dream needs an audience. Not every goal needs to be explained. Sometimes the strongest move is silence, followed by consistent action. Think of a person planting seeds. They do not dig them up every day to prove they exist. They water them. They trust the process. And eventually, growth becomes impossible to hide. Your life works the same way. If you want confidence, practice quietly. If you want respect, earn it quietly. If you want transformation, build it quietly. Stop announcing and start accumulating. Accumulate hours. Accumulate skills. Accumulate discipline. Accumulate evidence for yourself. Because confidence built through action feels different. It is not loud. It does not seek attention. It simply knows. And there is a day that comes for everyone who commits deeply enough. A day where you no longer need to explain who you are becoming. Your habits reveal it. Your character reveals it. Your results reveal it. People see the change before you mention it. That is real power. Not convincing, not performing, not declaring, just becoming. So speak less. Do more. Let your effort tell the story. Let your consistency make the announcement. And let your life become so aligned with your purpose that your actions say everything your words never needed to. Trust divine timing and your own path. One of the deepest forms of suffering in life does not come from failure. It comes from comparison. It comes from looking around and believing everyone else is moving faster, achieving more, arriving sooner. You see someone succeeding and wonder if you are behind. You see someone reaching milestones and question your own journey. You begin measuring your life against clocks that were never designed for you. And slowly, without realizing it, you stop living your path and start chasing someone else's. But life was never meant to unfold all at once. And it was never meant to unfold the same way for everyone. There are seasons in life. There are seasons of movement. There are seasons of waiting. There are seasons of building. And there are seasons where it feels like nothing is happening at all. Yet some of the most important things in life are being prepared during those silent seasons. Think about the moments in nature. A tree does not rush to become taller than every tree around it. It grows according to its design. The sun does not compete with the moon. Both arrive exactly when they are meant to. Everything powerful understands timing. But human beings often resist this truth. We want answers immediately, results immediately, recognition immediately. And when life does not move according to our schedule, we assume something is wrong. But sometimes delay is not denial. Sometimes what feels like standing still is actually preparation. Imagine a person trying with all their strength to force doors open, applying pressure, becoming frustrated, questioning themselves. Then, eventually, they stop forcing. They continue learning. They continue growing. They continue becoming stronger. Months later, an opportunity appears, and suddenly they realize something. If that opportunity had arrived earlier, they would not have been ready. Life was not rejecting them. Life was preparing them. This is why trusting your own path requires courage. Because trust means continuing even without immediate evidence. Trust means planting seeds without demanding instant fruit. Trust means believing that your effort still matters even when nobody can see the results yet. And trusting divine timing does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean sitting back and waiting for miracles. It means taking action without desperation, working without panic, growing without comparison. It means understanding that you control your effort, but not every outcome. There are things your discipline can create, and there are things that arrive only when the season is right. So stop asking why someone else is ahead. Stop asking why life seems slower for you. Ask instead, who am I becoming through this process? Because sometimes the greatest gift is not getting what you wanted quickly. It is becoming the person capable of carrying it. Stay faithful to your path. Stay committed to your growth. Keep moving even when progress feels invisible. Keep becoming even when recognition has not arrived. Because what belongs to you does not disappear because someone else received something first. Your moment has its own time. Your life has its own rhythm. And when you stop forcing, stop comparing, and start trusting, you create space for everything to fall into place exactly as it was meant to.